sisters, my mother had wanderlust. Oh, that woman loved to travel. She and my dad went to Australia and Hong Kong. They took the Trans-Siberian Railroad across the old Soviet Union. She loved to travel. We used to take her on our family road trips across the West. She loved it. But after Dad died, Jack, her new guy, he hated to travel. The year 2010. Mom was getting antsy. She really wanted to go somewhere. She was about to turn 81 years old. So I said, Mom, tell me where you want to go. I'll take you anywhere you want to go and I'll go with you. She said, I want to go to Cambodia, to Angkor Wat ruins. That's where I want to go. Okay, Mom, anywhere in the US that you want to go, I will take you. Okay. She said, I've always wanted to go to Alaska. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to go to Alaska. So I made reservations to take Mom to Alaska. She had a bucket list. On that bucket list, she wanted to stand on a glacier. So I arranged for a helicopter trip to take us to Denali out on the glacier so she could stand on a glacier. She's always wanted to see the glacier calving where they break off and whoosh into the water. She wanted to do that. So I booked a little tour of Portage Bay that looks at the Portage Glacier as it comes down into the water. Fantastic. She wanted to go on the Alaska Railroad. This is the woman who did the Trans-Siberian Railroad across Europe. And she wanted the Alaska Railroad. So we bought tickets from Anchorage up to Denali. And she wanted wildlife. So I booked a tour, a bus tour, basically it's a school bus of Denali National Park. It was fantastic. And I booked a wildlife cruise in Seward Bay, Seward Harbor. We were ready for Mom's bucket list. It was Mom, it was my teenage daughter, she was 17 at the time, and me. Off we went. Our first wildlife sighting, right there. Can you see that little black spot with the ears? I was driving along and I thought, why does somebody have a black poodle? It looked like a really big black poodle because it was going really fast across the road. And no, it wasn't a black poodle. It was a black bear. One of our first interesting spots that was not on Mom's bucket list. I go, what in the world is this? This is my photo of the Whittier Tunnel. Whittier Tunnel is 2.5 miles through underneath a mountain, and it's one lane. Every 15 minutes, the traffic pattern changes. For 15 minutes, the train can go in. For 15 minutes, trucks and cars can go in. And then the next 15 minutes, the train can come out. And then the next 15 minutes, the cars and trucks can come out. So it's 2.5 miles of those little light bulbs along the top, and you would swear that it was going to break the side mirrors off the car. A train fit, but it just didn't feel like we were going to fit. That was a great adventure. But nearby, on the other side of the tunnel, is Portage Glacier. This is the one we were going to go see. We were so excited. We got on the boat and we were watching nothing really because the glacier's moving so slow. We didn't see anything and it wasn't calving. So I went up to the rail and I start going, moo, moo. I do a pretty good cow. I grew up on a farm. And my daughter and my mom were like, what are you doing? I wanted to calve, so I'm being the cow and I'm mooing, and they backed up and pretended they didn't know me. It's a bonus day when you can embarrass your mother and your teenager at the same time. My teenager, oh, she forgave me right away because she's so used to that malarkey. Mom got me back the next day completely by accident. because the next day was our wildlife tour in Seward. And oh, it was just cool. We saw orca, we saw sea lions, look at the doll sheep up there. And then this was one of Mom's favorites because Mom loves penguins. These aren't penguins, but they are her second favorite creature, the puffin. All those little creatures in the water, those are puffins, and they flap their little wings really hard when they fly, and they were absolutely adorable. We didn't even know we were going to see them. But then we're riding back from seeing all of this wildlife, getting back to the slip where we were going to park the boat. I know I'm not a boat person, sorry. And Mom says, Nancy, come here. There's a hole in the mountain right over there. What? Hole in the mountain. Right. And she points me to the right direction. It's right there. I see this big hole in the mountain. Mom, there's no hole. There's no hole. Yeah. And so I'm starting to walk away. I'm backing up, trying to get away. No, Nancy. She just got louder and more emphatic about it. Finally, I'm like, okay, Mom, there's a hole in the mountain. I see it. We're fine, because she was not going to let it go. So she did. She got me back. We did go to Exit Glacier, which is on the way from Seward back to Anchorage, and you can walk very close, but we couldn't get on it, couldn't step up on that glacier. The next day, we hop on the train up to Denali, and really this is what it looks like. You would expect the panoramic views, but mainly we were just looking at trees almost the whole time. But you know what? Mom didn't mind. She had a great time. It was a captive audience. She talked to absolutely everybody on the whole train and told them her stories. It was great. And she loved the train. Now the teenager, she did kind of teenage things, asleep on my shoulder. Man, I loved posting that picture, but there she was. When we got there, we did the bus trip, and Denali was gorgeous. We didn't really see all that much in the way of wildlife because most of it was on this telephoto camera that had a screen in the front of the bus. But we did see a few things. But the spectacular thing about Denali was you were on a one-lane road in a school bus passing other school buses. And it was so far down, thousands of feet down, so far down, you could not see the bottom. That was absolutely thrilling. This was really the best wildlife sighting we had that whole trip on the bus. And it was a little wolf, that just skinny little wolf, more like a coyote, that walked along the side of the bus. I know we were way on that little skinny road about to fall, but Mom, she was unperturbed, sound asleep. And she needed that sleep because next day was the highlight of her whole trip, actually our whole trip. We were going rafting on the Denali River. Oh man, that was so much fun. And you see Mom and my daughter there. Mom's on the edge of the raft. She's holding on to the ropes. She's 81. Yes, she works out at the gym numerous times a week. She did weightlifting classes and yoga, and you name it, she did it. But she was 81. Man, she was so happy. Look at that face. She smiled. She didn't care. She got splashed with water. She just laughed the whole time. And when we finally were able to park the raft, she got out and her legs gave out. She couldn't even stand up. She'd been just so tense on the side of the boat, but having a great time. That was the stuff of her travel stories, her many travel stories for the rest of her life. It was glorious. The final day. The final day, we're supposed to get on that helicopter and go up to the glacier and stop on the glacier, be able to walk around. It was raining. It was raining and there was no visibility, so we couldn't do it. It was a pivotal time. It was so much fun. And see my daughter there and how happy she is. How happy she is. She had a great time. She got wanderlust. Wanderlust worse than grandma, because my daughter's been out of college for 5 years, and I counted it up. She has visited 10 countries. As I speak, she is on a train from Copenhagen to Stockholm with her best friend from kindergarten. She definitely has wanderlust. Now, Mom and I had a great time. Even though Mom didn't get to do everything on her bucket list, it was still her dream trip. And I have to admit, it was mine too. Toastmasters.